All right, welcome everyone back to the Ari Lewis Show here on Israel National Radio, Root Sheva. The show is syndicated as the Messiah Hour on YouTube. Go to YouTube, type in Messiah Hour with Ari Lewis and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is free to do so, and of course, a reminder that I'm on JApp. JApp is a Jewish application which features lectures from big rabbis and historians, as well as episodes of this program. You can find JApp by going to their website, www.j-app.me. Or you can download JApp from iTunes and Google Play stores. And, of course, the email to my show is messiahhour@gmail.com. We are continuing the conversation with Rabbi David Katz of Solmazal.com, and he is the co-author of the new hit book, The World of the Ger. Rabbi Katz, let's talk about if Bibi doesn't win, if Sidney Levy does, if we go left. We have had a major drop-off from Sharon as far as the right-wing mentality. Will we have more of a drop-off if we go away from Bibi and go to Levy?
So it's a real threat. It really can happen. But I'm not worried about it. We've been right for a long time. And to go left, just as much as we're always surprised when the right goes left, like when Sharon gave up Gush Katif, this is not based on anything. This is just my own personal kind of thing. I wouldn't be surprised to see the victor left party go right. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I just don't think that you can be that far left and say like, at 7 a.m. tomorrow I'm going to go to Palestine and make a deal. I just don't think they're going to do that. I think they want to sell that. I even think they believe it. But I think, when push comes to shove, I think things will balance out. The coalition will work to a certain level. If it doesn't work, it'll fall apart, which is the way it's designed to do. And with that, I think she has enough brains to try to not alienate the entire other half of the country. So to do so, I think the left people are more tolerant to venture right. I don't mean become rightist, but to entertain the right's demands, let's say. All in all, again, it's like Bibi. I think everyone just goes to the center no matter what. If you're right wing, you end up at the center. If you're left wing, you end up at the center. And the damage will be minimal. We've seen the worst from Sharon when he gave up the land. Unless these people are really committed to destroying Israel, we're okay. And in that regard, we hope the Mashiach would come. So it's not we've been burned by that, 70 years ago, that kind of thinking. But now we're in the land of Israel. All in all, the diversity is amazing. You have to love the diversity.
There's no question. There's no question about that. I mean, people might not like the system or like what's going on, but no one can say there's not diversity. Now, right. I want to talk about Herzog because Levy gets the bulk of the attention, but Herzog is certainly a major player. And I want to know what will happen if we have a situation of Herzog and Levy being together. I don't know if you think they're caliber or not, if that would be a good situation. I think I know your answer, but tell the audience what you think.
Yes, I don't. Obviously, nobody's caliber except for Bibi. I mean, that should be a uniform kind of statement. But Bibi won't be around forever, and we're going to have to move on. And if Mashiach doesn't come in the next 2-3 years, then we will have had a prime minister that's not caliber. Look, America's going through their first president that's not caliber, right? I don't care who you are. Don't tell me that Obama's caliber. You might like him, but he's not caliber, right? Putin is a caliber guy, and Merkel's a caliber woman, and Bibi is a caliber guy, and that's it. There's nobody else out there that's caliber. But the world's still going, okay? Things are still happening. It's a new kind of leader out there, and, either Israel's destined to have a non-caliber leader, or Mashiach, who is going to be caliber. That's it. And I'm personally not afraid to venture off into not caliber land. America's not the same because of it, but it happened. it's just kind of embracing reality, you know? This is where we are. And if she wins and Herzog is there and they're together, I say, you know, enter sports moniker here. Let's play ball.
Let's play ball, or maybe we need a Hail Mary to then go back to religion from sports. Which, by the way, Hail Mary actually apparently was done by a quarterback who played for the Cowboys. Do you happen to know this one, Rabbi?
Which one?
So
Ken Stabler?
No, this famous quarterback of the Cowboys in the 70s. He threw a pass at the end of the game from half middle of the field, and the Cowboys won. So they asked this quarterback, "What did you say?" And he said, "I said a Hail Mary." And so that's...
Of course, against the Steelers, it was the Immaculate Reception.
There you go. So there is religious stuff used in football. And, of course, the quarterback I'm talking about, Roger Staubach, who did win a couple of Super Bowls. Right. And arguably is the Cowboys' best quarterback of all time. Anyways, going back to politics, sports without a ball, as my college professor used to say back in the day. I want to know from this perspective of radicalism, because a lot of people on the left will say the right is radical. They say the settlers are crazy, all this kind of stuff. Well, how radical is the left? We have a Leavni prime minister, and we have her running the show, and she's in charge in office. How radical is her platform? How radical is the left?
See, isn't that a great question? I mean, we've already gone through our through our nervous reactions with the right? I think you could say that culminated with Rabbi Meir Kahan being killed, right? The foundations of the country, as I said, they were thinking Greater Israel, right? Transjordan. That's radical. That's radical right. And they were interested in killing people. Don't think they weren't, because they were. Meir Kahan very clearly said, you have to be, Torah right. Take out the 7 nations, yada, yada. And he paid the price for that. Ever since then, it's illegal to be a Kahanist, right, in terms of government position. All the right parties have gone centrist to where there really is no more right wing outside of Moshe Feiglin. So the right is dead. The right radical is dead. And that means now, is this the opportunity for the left radical to shine? Right? I mean, is that how it's going to be? Are we going to see just how radical the left is? Or has their time also passed and they're going to end up centrist as well? They already said if they go left, they are kicking the settlers out of the shtachim, out of the settlements. So it's interesting. I'm not an Obama fan. That should be clear by now. But I saw an interview with the experts in America. They said Obama is one of the greatest presidents that ever lived. And sorry about that comment, but they said the reason why is he's the most consequential president that ever lived. And he is. Look what the guy's done. Everything he does is a consequence. He's by not acting or doing anything, he has made consequence. By simply not reacting to Iran, he has allowed almost nuclear weapons to be given to terrorists. If that's not a consequence, I don't know what is. So, likewise, with our left, we may be looking at one of the most consequential governments in our history. And what that means, who knows? But I hate to say it this way, just as that professor was excited about the prospects of American presidential candidacy being consequential, I have to say I'm a bit interested to see what consequence would mean for us. Why? Because we are the Holy Land. God's eyes are on our land. If there are heavy consequences here, then you have to say the Eibishter is behind it. When the temple was brought down, it's different than the Holocaust. Right? One was happening in anti-Semitic Europe. One was happening where Jews were speaking Lashon Hara. Right? We have a mitzvah to not do that here. They have a mitzvah to not do that there. If we are going to inherit a consequential government, at least it'll reveal kind of a reality check. Are we at redemption? Are we not at redemption? That's the best way to find out. I'm not saying it's the optimal way to find out, but if they win out, they're consequential. We will find out.
And again, this is the Ari Lewis Show here on Israel National Radio, Root Sheva. The show is syndicated as Messiah Hour on YouTube, and you can go to YouTube and type in Messiah Hour with Ari Lewis and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is free to do so. And our guest this afternoon is Rabbi David Katz, co-author of the book World of the Ger, which you can find on Sobazal.com. Let's go back to the Charedim. And speaking of the left, apparently the daughter of Rav Avadia Yosef, who passed away about a year and a half ago, she said that he was a leftist. What do you think? What do you make of those comments?
It's interesting. She came out and said that he was left. I forget who said, what was it before who was it after he died? Someone said that it was Derry that was responsible and not him. So the whole question is Shas's glory years, were they left or right? Right? So some say left, some say right. She says he was a leftist. So they're blaming Aryeh Deri. And Shas makes it very clear they want money. That seems to be all they're interested in. And if the left wins out, and the Charedim go in there, and the Charedim have shown that they're willing to give up land outside of certain religious politicians. Also, this is where politics really, boggle my mind. I don't understand it at this level. I don't understand how Torah rabbinic view would give up land, and that's going to become a factor. Also, in a terrorist release, rabbis have said one way and then gone back retracted their views and gone another way. So anytime you add the Charedim into the left, or probably also the right, but I think the right is kind of a natural conservative feel. So there's not so much friction, except in terms of policies and money and that kind of thing. But when you go left, you're talking about annexing the Shtachim, which is a religious endeavor. It'll be interesting to see rabbinic position if the left wins out. If the left wants to run to the negotiating table, and we're devoid of Gedolim, speaking about caliber, everybody knows we are without caliber Gedolim. We don't have the Lubavitcher Rebbe. We don't have Rav Moshe. Okay, we don't have the Baba Sali. We don't have Rav Shach. These guys are gone.
We also don't have Rav Avadia Yosef anymore physically.
That's right. And Rav Moshe Kleineman also, Rav Moshe of Alexander. I don't know what he's going to do.
Right.
So there's things out there that we don't know. But the rabbis that are here and are high up, and Rav David Lau, the chief rabbi, and his staff, if you will, of policy makers. Again, it's very much like the whole Bennett thing. You're looking at guys not like their predecessors, but they're not dumb. These are not low caliber in terms of capabilities. There's just a different kind of Jew. Just like from the Tanayim to the Amoraim. They were different, right? And they knew it. They saw it. Those guys knew there was a drop-off. It's called Yeridus Adoris, the lessening of the generation. We have just seen one. The Gedolim of 20 years ago are not the Gedolim of today. The politicians, the Reagans, and the Clintons are gone. Hillary is not Bill. Let's not confuse them.
Indeed. Okay. Again, there's no doubt about that. All right. I want to talk. We mentioned if the left is radical. How about, is the left really that bad?
Again, this is like one of my. You can probably tell I'm a bit fascinated with the left, because when you look back in history at the beginning of the state, right? Ben Gurion, you can say what you want about Ben Gurion, but he was a caliber guy, right? So you can't just say, oh, he was an idiot leftist. He didn't know what he was doing. Back then, left meant something, right? Maybe not in American terms, But in this country, it meant something. We're still here, and the left didn't kill us. Shimon Peres, his whole era brought us nukes, and he was around in the early years. So where he was holding back then, I'm not exactly sure, but he leans left at least the majority of his tenure. I know people switch sides, so I don't know where he officially lined up, but to me he's a leftist. They're just a quirky bunch. Barack was a horrible PM, but somehow as a defense minister, he was a tough guy. And, I would still take Barack over Bennett. And Barack wanted to sign away the whole country. It was horrible. But there's a certain level of caliber that was to the left. That, not to say the right didn't have it, but they were both sides. But again, to say, in terms devoid of the people, and I'm not convinced the right is caliber at all. What was is not what is now. As we mentioned, Likud now is not who they were. So right is dead. There is no right. And Moshe Feiglin's not right either. He is a religious type of right, and that's not right. So the left, are they defunct? Or is there some kind of caliber gene? I don't know. I know that the candidates don't strike any kind of imposing figure, but I'll be interested to see if it does win out. I'm not hoping for it, but you can't argue with reality. And if they win, we will see just what the left is made of, because they've had a long time to muster up some strength. So either it's a dud, or we'll see some action. Either way.
All right, let's talk about the future of Israel if the left win out. If we have Tzipi Livni as prime minister, what do you see happening for the future of Israel?
So this brings back again, like the Naftali Bennett thing about building up the north or the south. I mean, this seems to be what's going on in the whole country. The Merkaz is built. Okay, you have enough sushi bars in Tel Aviv to feed China, and in Jerusalem they've done a tremendous job building it up. The nightlife has picked up, and Jerusalem's impressive. I wouldn't say that it was 15 years ago when I got here. It was holy, but it wasn't, shiny like it is now. You've probably seen that, right, Ari?
Yeah, we've seen that. Basically, what you said right on, that the Merkaz is built up, but the north and south need more work done.
So that's it. The south, Beersheba is nice, and they're building up the factories and the IDF. And the north, we have a huge hospital center, and whoever inherits the country, in my opinion, if they don't do it in terms of reality, they're at least obligated to either make the desert bloom or really, really build up the Galil. And I know Sfat has plans, a 10-year plan on what they're going to do to clean up the old city, make it more tourist worthy and all these things. So in my personal opinion, the future of Israel will be interesting to see develop in terms of the Negev and the Galil, or both. There should be wherever those two areas go, I would say follow them to prosperity.
All right, last question before we let you go. If the left take over, if they're the ones in power, how do you think they're going to go about dealing with major issues of the country?
Well, it goes back to Iran, doesn't it? That's going to be the issue. The Shtachim, are they going to run to make peace and create a state? Are they going to kick the settlers out, and follow through with their demands? What are they going to do with Iran? All the problems that Bibi is dealing with, they will deal with. We claim to know how Bibi would deal with it. I think we don't. Meaning, I think he's not open with what he's going to do. He's already proven that. They're threatening us with the destruction of Israel, which is rather odd, and therefore I don't think they will. And since they won't, it'll be very interesting to see what they would do, right? Because I don't think they're going to have a clear highway an open checkbook to do what they want. So again, based on that, they're really gonna, if they win, they will lay down a paved highway for whatever the left has become into the future. So whatever the left is, they will define it, live it, and make precedent of it.
All right, that is today's episode of the Ari Lewis Show here on Israel National Radio, Root Sheva, and the show is syndicated as Messiah Hour on YouTube. You can go to YouTube and type in Messiah Hour with Ari Lewis and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is free to do so, and of course, if you'd like to make a financial contribution to the program, you can do that through my PayPal account, IsraelSportsRadio@yahoo.com. Our guest this afternoon has been Rabbi David Katz. And you can find his book, The World of the Ger, on Sobelzal.com, GerGer.com, and Amazon. Rabbi, thank you for being on the program today. Great job as always.
Thanks for having me back, Ari, and always vote Ger.
There you go. It sounds like maybe we should have a Ger Prime Minister. That would be a good way to handle some things. I want to mention, again, you're listening to this show, Bezrat Hashem, on the 17th, Election Day, if Arut Sheva puts it up on time. Of course, I can't promise that. If you listen to the show after the election's been decided, well, then you'll have a really interesting episode of the show. But that's the way it goes, so we hope the show is airing on the 17th, so you guys can listen to it in its correct manner as is intended. Also, a reminder on the website JApp, that is www.j-app.me. That website features lectures from rabbis and historians, episodes of this program, and you can find JApp on their website, or you can download JApp from iTunes or Google Play stores. And again, check out my YouTube channel, subscribe to it. It's free to do so. It helps me get higher up on YouTube searches. It helps more people to find out about this program. So if you're not going to make a financial contribution, the least you can do for me, if you like the show, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We got I believe about 130 now, and just in the past few months, we've had thousands of people listen to the show, and they're staying on watching for a long time. We had about 43,000 minutes in the last month. I'm very proud about that. So let's continue to go, and we're just getting started. I've only been on every day since December, and we're doing very, very well. So thank you to the fans for that, and thank you to all our great guests. Again, this is the Ari Lewis Show on Israel National Radio, Root Sheva. Everyone have a great election day. Vote early and vote often.